brand names and how to use them in fiction. I'm Peg Thomas, multi-award winning author and editor, and we are two editors for 5 minutes.
And I'm Jenny Leo. I'm also an editor, and I write historical fiction as Jennifer Lamont Leo. And today we're talking about using brand names in our fiction. And as a historical writer, I find using brand names is a great way to reinforce my time period or my setting or even my characterizations sometimes. But I was taught somewhere along the way that you should never use a brand name without a trademark symbol or a registered symbol, and that would ruin a novel. And one day I was reading a novel and I came across brand name after brand name. And I thought, what is this? So I looked into it, and it turns out that is not the cardinal sin that we're sometimes taught it is, with some advice. Um, there are
Right.
some rules or guidelines that go
And
along
it
with
is
it.
good to know that all brand names are copyrighted.
Mhm.
So they do belong to the company. So we cannot misuse them. And we should probably note in here that neither one of us are a lawyer.
Not lawyer.
No, we've never played a lawyer on TV.
This is not legal advice.
Not legal
This
advice
is
at
just us talking.
all. That's right.
Okay. Yes, and that's true, but using them is not automatically a problem, but the context does matter. So, for example, you may want your character to drive a Honda or to drink Coca-Cola. Those may say things about your character because a Honda driver is different from a Tesla driver, is different from a monster truck driver, right?
Right. Very different. And
But
it can really help to flesh out your character
yeah.
by describing the type of car that they
Mhm,
drive. Or it can put the reader in the right era if they're
right.
driving an Edsel, right?
Mhm. Or the right
So
social class or all kinds of things.
all of the above.
My first tip is when you name a brand name to be neutral or positive in how you portray it. That will avoid a host of problems if your Honda suddenly the brakes fail or something's wrong with the Coca-Cola. It's poison. You're not going to be setting yourself up for a libel suit if it's neutral or positive portrayal. If
And
you need to use,
the only exception of that would be if something very well documented happened. I'm thinking back in the 70s, the Pintos that burst into flames.
yeah,
And if
or
you
the
use that as a
Tylenol
part of
tan.
your story, maybe that's where, that was a pivotal part of your story or whatever, you would
Yeah.
be safe from that because that is a well documented historical event.
Right. But if it's not that and it's just your imagination, maybe use a fictional brand name or just the generic brand name. It's a compact car
That's
or
always the
it's,
safest.
a cola. That would work. My next tip is to capitalize the brand names whenever you use them, um, so that you're showing the reader that it is a brand name and also that you respect that it's a
And what are
brand.
some of the ones that we think of as everyday words that we might not capitalize, but they're actually brand names?
Oh, Kleenex is one. That's
Yeah,
it's a tissue.
yeah,
Kleenex is a brand name. Another one is Band-Aid. Band-Aid is a brand name. The word is bandage.
right.
And one that surprised me when I was doing research for this episode is taser. I was about to say Tesla. Taser, when you taser someone to stop them doing the crime, that's a brand name. It's
Yeah,
a
and I had no
stun gun.
idea.
You use a stun gun. So check into these things. Google, as it turns out, they hate it when you say Googling,
Yeah,
which I think that's kind of flattering, to have your brand name turned into a verb, but don't do it. And
don't
the
do it.
other
There's
thing
a word for that, right? If you turn a brand name into a verb,
it is verbification.
verbification.
Thank you for letting me share that because
I
that
love
was
that.
news to me, the whole thing. Also, don't turn your brand name into a verb like I just did with Googling or tasering. That's also a no-no to many corporate entities. Some might not care, but why take the chance? Just Don't do it. Use the generic verb or use your fictionalized brand name.
And
Um,
authors might be thinking, well, I write to such a small audience. It's not going to be a big deal.
what if
But
you
you
hit it
never
big?
know. You never know which novel might break you out
Yeah, and then
you know,
Disney's after you, and it could
yeah,
ruin your vibe. My final tip is if you write contemporary fiction, so we write historical, we've got our own issues, but if you write contemporary fiction, be aware that using certain brand names could date your story pretty quickly
yeah.
if they go in and out of fashion. So if you don't want that to happen, make sure your brand names are up to the minute and be prepared to go back and update your backlist sometimes too um, to fix that. Didn't you have a something about Jerry Jenkins and that?
Yes, Jerry Jenkins, I told you earlier, he went back and updated the Left Behind series because technology had changed so much. He wanted it to be more current. And when I talked to him about that, it was back in 2014 at a writers conference. And I don't know if he's done it again. I mean, technology's changed so much, and that's been 11 years. So he may have even gone back through and updated it yet again.
It could
If you
be.
want to keep it current, you have to be cognizant of that. Now, I'm lucky, right? I write Colonial America when there were no brand names. I'm good
Yeah, I'm 20s and there's brand names right and left, so
all over the
I
place.
have to be
Well, we are
careful.
out of time, but until next time, we hope that you use brand names and use them correctly. I'm Peg Thomas.
And I'm Jenny Leo.
We'll see you
Bye-bye.
next time.